click, clack. Remember those fucking commercials? Hello and welcome to the 15th episode of the Backburners. I'm Dylan Sherman.
And I'm Sam Tiller. We want to thank you for lending your ears for another hour of nonstop sports entertainment.
And how could we forget our producer, Fabio?
What up, what up?
How you doing?
Doing fantastic.
We have an relatively empty studio today.
I think this is the emptiest it's been since we've been in the studio.
Yeah.
In this studio.
You've had at least 1 to 2 guests on every...
Yeah.
Well, not talking guests, but other people
Yeah,
sitting in the room.
Yeah. Makes it way hotter in here. It's like
Wait,
nice,
hotter?
Yeah.
Okay. I was going to say like...
Physically.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
like
Right.
I physically sweat.
Right.
But now it's like really nice and cool in here, so I think I'm not going to profusely sweat like I normally do during the show.
But I mean, you are a sweaty guy.
I am a sweaty
You always
guy.
run a little bit wet.
Yeah, it can be like 65 out, and I'll like walk 100 yards, and like I'm pitting out.
That's just bear energy.
It's
You're kind of built like a bear a little bit.
Yeah,
You're
it's-
always a little sweaty.
It's just like, I don't know. I just
my
retain heat.
My little brother will like literally have to grab something out of the fridge and like be sweating after. And it's like, dude, you didn't do anything.
Yeah.
I mean, you are a hairy guy. Like you're
hairy.
constantly wearing a sweater underneath all of your clothing.
Yeah, so
Do you think that plays a factor? Like if you
Oh,
shaved
absolutely.
your
it
whole
has.
body?
100%.
Yeah, it probably has to.
I thought the hair on your body though would kind of absorb the sweat, maybe.
It probably does both. It
does.
probably retains heat, but also, it's just like a sponge,
Yeah,
a hairy sponge.
yeah. It's like when
Anyways,
I get out of the shower, it's all like matted down, like looking good.
do you see people that like on TikTok, they'll like wet their leg hair and then like do designs in there?
No. Do you ever like twist your leg hair?
Oh, all the time.
like this? And
That,
then
it's
it,
a
like,
nervous
sticks
habit
up?
that, I do that all the time.
I love doing
See?
that. Okay. We need to stop talking
God.
about body hair. That's disgusting.
that.
People watching on YouTube are just gonna be like, "Yeah, it was a pretty good episode." They just kept looking at their like thighs the whole time though and twisting leg hair.
God. Well, this is a sports podcast hosted by two former jocks whose sports knowledge is a mile wide and an inch deep. Whether it's breaking down the latest slate of professional, college, and obscure sports, or debating the best game day traditions, we've got you covered. Follow us on Instagram and TikTok at the Backburners Pod, and give us a listen on Spotify, Amazon Music, and Apple Pods. That needs to stop.
It does.
I
It
can't.
does.
I can't though.
Can't stop, won't stop.
Can't stop, won't stop. Let's get into it. So, how about a little mom spaghetti?
I'm very excited for this segment to be back because we actually have shit to talk about now.
We have shit to talk about in which we know what we're talking about,
Yeah.
right?
We're not just pulling stuff out of our ass.
I mean, we tried our best with basketball because we started this, right as the NBA playoffs were really heating up. And I grew up like watching some basketball and like playing a little bit, but we both know the game of football pretty well.
Like the back of our hand.
Like the back of our burners.
I'd say our knowledge is probably a mile wide and 3 inches deep when it comes to football.
I would say so.
Okay.
So let's get into some mom spaghetti. What was your mom spaghetti?
That UNC Virginia Tech game.
Yeah.
Oh my God. That was incredible. From kickoff, or when Virginia Tech ran out of the tunnel, they had 70,000 people just jumping up and down, screaming along to Sandman by Metallica. Just one of the most incredible scenes I've seen in college football in a long time. And it just made me that much more excited for the rest of the weekend of football, because it was like, this is Virginia Tech. Like, yeah, they're passionate about their football, but this isn't even Georgia Clemson.
Right.
And like, oh my God. So it was from that moment until the end of the game, Virginia Tech played inspired football. That defense flies around. UNC's quarterback, supposedly...
It was Sam Howell for Heisman.
Yeah. Supposedly he's a Heisman candidate. He played like dog shit. UNC made him look like a scrub. He did not belong on that field. I mean, Virginia Tech's offense didn't like play great because UNC does have a pretty good defense, But Braxton Burmeister,
he had some throws.
in the first half, he was like 8 of 9 for 126 yards and a touchdown, and his one incompletion, it was a slant route in the end zone, and he hit the receiver in the chest, and the guy just dropped it.
Yeah,
Like-
I forgot about him. I mean, he transferred from Oregon. I think he lost out on the QB battles over there. Gets over to Virginia Tech. And he's lighting it up.
He's balling. He's very athletic.
Very.
He can run. He's very good in the pocket, and he's not just one of those guys that is like, he is mobile, but he's not like, oh, my first read's gone, I'm taking off. He scrambles around in the backfield very well and delivered some great throws downfield. The second half for him wasn't as good, but shit, he still played good enough to beat supposedly a top 10 team in the nation. I don't think UNC is a top 10 team in the nation. I'm just going to put that out there. But they were pre-ranked, so it still counts as a top 10 win for Virginia Tech. They played great. It was an amazing game. Oh, my God. It just got me so excited for the rest of the weekend of amazing football.
Yeah. I mean, that was the entrance alone, I mean, does it for me.
Yeah. It was so great to have full house stadiums again. It warmed my heart. I got goosebumps watching that video. It was great.
Well, for my mom's spaghetti, Florida State, Notre Dame.
That game was wild.
That game was bananas. Specifically in that game, the return of Mackenzie Milton.
Yeah.
So for those of you who don't know who Mackenzie Milton was, he was the quarterback at Central Florida when they were national champions. He went down with a horrific knee injury. And let's see. So
that was back in like 2018.
So that was his last game. Or 2018 was the last time he played. So this was the first time in almost
3 years.
3 years that he stepped in the field. So his injury, he suffered a knee dislocation where the thigh bone and the lower leg bone were completely dislocated.
Oh, my God.
Tore ligaments, tore tendons. He had very little nerve function. And there was one doctor that said that almost 50% of people who suffer these kinds of injuries have to have their leg amputated.
Good God.
So he's a medical miracle. And I don't know what's going on with Florida State, if they were playing a 2-quarterback system or not, because he didn't start the game. There was another guy who started, but he threw 3 picks. Yeah, so I think he might have just gotten pulled.
I think they pulled him.
So Mackenzie comes in, goes 5 for 7, 48 yards, helps out running a little bit, led a touchdown drive. Jack Cohn, the Wisconsin transfer, the new Notre Dame quarterback, he balled out. 366 yards and 4 touchdowns. The ending was wild with a missed field goal by Florida State. Notre Dame goes on and wins the game. Football's back. That's all I got to say.
We didn't even watch that game because we were watching USA Canada, but I when the USA game got over, I checked the score and it was 38-20 at the start of the fourth quarter.
Right.
And I was like, this game's over. Like, I'm not going to watch the final quarter of this game. And then I got a notification on my phone like an hour later, and it's like they're headed to overtime.
Yeah, I think
what?
I turned the game on with like 5 minutes left in the fourth, and I was like, oh, and that's when Mackenzie Milton went in. Something that I did not think was super cool that ESPN did. Obviously, like, it was such a big moment because he came back. They kept cutting to his parents who were at the game, and like his mom was like on the verge of tears.
Well, yeah, it's very emotional.
They kept cutting back. It's like, I don't know. Focus on the game. I know. I understand.
Very emotional moment.
It's very emotional, but she was like freaking out. Like, I would not have wanted to be on TV.
Yeah.
I don't blame her. I think everyone was, even I was like, because he took off a couple of times.
Also, when have we ever cared about their parents?
Well, I think in this case, it's like, it was such a big story, and he's such a likable guy that I think people did care just because it was just a huge moment for sports. I think
they were like actually invested in the story the whole time.
Yeah, because he went down with, it was so bad. Like, he was like, the thought was he was never going to play another snap. Like, he could have gotten his leg amputated. I'm very happy for him. Who knows what's going to happen to him the rest of the season? I don't care if he plays another snap. Yeah. Just him getting back out there, playing what was Notre Dame's number 9.
Yep.
Playing a top 10 team, going in there, almost beating them. Florida State's actually a damn good team.
Or is Notre Dame overhyped?
I guess that's the question.
I always feel like Notre Dame's overhyped just because they're Notre Dame. But
yeah, but they have competency at quarterback now. Jack
that's
Cohn
true.
is not messing around.
Yeah, he is a good quarterback. Also, did you see Brian Kelly's post-game interview?
Yes.
Okay. Fuck all those people who thought he was serious.
It was an old coach's joke.
Yeah, exactly. So for those of you that don't know, he said that
this is Brian Kelly, the head coach of Notre Dame,
Yes.
right after the win.
Yeah, after the win, he is talking to the ESPN sideline reporter, and he says all of our players should be executed. Clearly, that's a joke.
Right.
And then, I guess it was today. Oh, no, it was Monday. He had to come out and apologize for that comment. It's like, people fucking relax. It's clearly a joke. He's not going to actually execute 100 football players. That's absurd.
Yeah. I
Take a chill pill. Like,
it's just, I think a lot maybe of the outrage was probably towards people who haven't had a tough coach like that or had a coach say something like that. It's a joke. Like, coming off the
hear it publicly. Like, he probably says shit that's like 10 times gnarlier in the locker room. Like,
every coach does.
Like, he just slipped up and accidentally said it on ESPN. Like, I assume all the players were like, oh, that wasn't even bad. Like, that was fine.
Every coach, every football coach, I don't care if it's high school.
Every coach ever. I don't even think it matters to the sport.
They are all savages.
yeah, they all say crazy shit.
But, I think the outrage was a little bit ridiculous. I mean, I laughed.
It was not a little bit ridiculous. It was 100% ridiculous. It's obvious he's kidding.
Yeah.
So stupid.
Well, so this is an interesting part of the show now because apparently you have...
No, we're doing I disagree first.
Oh, we are?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. I didn't see that.
Yeah.
Jumped the gun a little bit.
Idiots.
I'm sorry. It's your prompt for I disagree, so go right ahead.
It is. All right, so the Super Bowl, like people who don't like football watch the Super Bowl, and part of the pull is the commercials. But not just the Super Bowl has great commercials. There are companies that release commercials for football season that are fantastic. So, Dr. Pepper has the best commercials during football season, and it's not even close. It's almost like a TV show within commercials. They call it Fansville. This is the 4th season that they're going to do it. It's so fucking hilarious. Like, it's just basically a town that is obsessed with college football, and you have the sheriff, and you have like all these outrageous, crazy fans. And I was watching a lot of these commercials today, and I forgot how funny some of the old ones were. Like, two parents like walk into their son's room, and they're like, "What is this?" And it's a soccer magazine, and they're like, "Soccer is a gateway sport." Next thing you know, you're gonna be watching lacrosse. And then that was in season 1, and then in season 2, they walk in on him in his room, and it's like they catch him watching porn on his computer, but he's watching lacrosse. It's so funny. And then the kid goes off to college, and he's going to a school that doesn't even have football, and his dad gives him this football that was signed by their team, which they just call state. And like the dad's like super disappointed that he's not going to state. And then he like tosses it to his son, and the kid like bobbles it, and then it just goes into the street and gets ran over by a bus. Like, it's so funny. They have another one where they're in a courtroom, and they're like trying to determine whether or not this guy jinxed the kicker because he said, "Oh, he never misses. He's automatic." And then the judge sentences him to 10 Saturdays without Dr. Pepper. And he goes, "Can't I just go to prison?" Like, it's just so funny. Like, oh my God. I love their commercials. Dr. Pepper knocks it out of the park every single year with Fansville. It's a hit.
They do. They are super entertaining. I'm going to disagree, but it's really hard for me to disagree with you. The company that... you want some water? You want some water? Little cottonmouth?
I'm thirsty.
My pick for best sports commercials, Budweiser. Budweiser. Now,
Budweiser commercials make girls cry with like the dog and the Clydesdales and like all that shit.
Well, if you'll give me a minute to explain, they had some really. I mean, they were super popular in the '90s and early 2000s. They had "What's Up?" If you remember that, I don't know.
I do remember
Yeah, so
that.
"What's Up?" They had like a dog party where this guy was house sitting for his friend, and he has like 30 dogs, and the guy who's house sitting sees just a massive fridge full of Bud Light, and he's like, I'm gonna have a party. And then it cuts to the party, and like all the dogs are like waiters and waitresses and like bartenders and stuff. They had like you said, the commercials with the Clydesdale horses, those big giant horses, and the puppies. I was watching one today, and I was like on the verge of tears because it's just so cute and adorable. Recently, they've started kind of trying to come back into relevancy because they go really hard for the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
I think they obviously have, spots for, regular season, but for the Super Bowl, they are always fucking on. And they've gotten guys like Post Malone, and they did a Game of Thrones style commercial. I remember that features the mountain.
Yep. And then like the Bud Light night.
The Bud
like,
night. Yeah. They were jousting.
Yeah.
And then the mountain goes and squishes his face just like he did in the show. And they had Dilly Dilly.
Yeah.
They
I
had
forgot about
my
Dilly
favorite.
Dilly.
My favorite line from those commercials is "Down to the pit of misery, Dilly Dilly."
I totally forgot about those. Oh my God.
Yeah, they had a lot of the really funny ones are from like the 90s and early 2000s, but they've kind of started, going with I love the medieval theme.
Yeah.
Always consistently good. They're going to go hard for the Super Bowl. They didn't have a commercial last year, I don't think. I don't know why,
really?
But I don't think they had one. I was reading, but I don't know. I think they're really entertaining, and I think, they've had a couple of good catchphrases.
Yeah, Dilly Dilly is by far their most popular catchphrase.
That's what I say to myself every morning when I wake up. Dilly Dilly, because I can get away with it because it's my name.
That's true. Little silly Dilly.
Little silly Dilly me. They had "What's Up? How you doing?" They had one commercial where they they're in a bar and the guy walks into the bar, says to the bartender, "How you doing?" Bartender says, "How you doing?" Bartender gets a phone call, "How you doing? Hey, how you doing?" And they just keep saying, "How you doing?" And it's just like so ridiculous. It's not even like funny. It's not funny when I explain it, but when you watch it, just like how many fucking times are they going to say, "How you doing?"
Are they just like making fun of people on the East Coast?
It might be. It might be. Might be a subtle dig.
Mm-hmm.
Those maniacs. Yeah. I mean, it's tough to disagree with. I really like Fansville. I think it's very funny.
It is. The only shitty thing about Budweiser is their beer just sucks.
Don't disrespect Bud Light. The power of Bud Light.
Listen,
Obviously, the millions and millions of dollars they've spent on their commercials does not make their beer taste any better.
Exactly. Like, Trav, you agree their beer sucks.
No, but
there's also no one like if you go to someone's house and they're like, "Oh yeah, grab a beer from the fridge," and it's stocked with Budweiser, like you better be over the age of 80 or like psychotic. I wouldn't even say broke because there's better. Like I'd rather have PBR than Budweiser.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah, but like they're like Anheuser-Busch is the most successful.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, so clearly they have a market and clearly they sell. So it doesn't suck.
It's just weird that they're still marketing their traditional Budweiser beer. It's like
nobody drinks that.
You guys have much more better stuff on your fleet that people actually want to go out and buy compared to like crying and watching a horse and a dog have fun together. Like, isn't going to make you want to go drink your shitty beer.
It's they're so adorable.
Yeah. Also heard a story recently, I think it was on another podcast, of a guy that he lived near where they keep the Budweiser Clydesdales. And they wanted to hop on and try to ride one, and he like sat on the back for maybe half a second, and then got bucked off like 20 feet into the air, and then they ran away.
Dude, yeah, those horses do not fuck around. They are massive.
They're massive.
They're like the biggest horses, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah,
they have to be.
They are. They can. So you measure horses in hands, and they can be like 25 hands tall, which is fucking ridiculous. It's a big ass horse.
They're the grizzly bear of horses.
Yeah, like you don't until you see one. Like everybody knows, like Clydesdale's big, but until you see one, you're like, oh my god, you don't understand. It's like a moose.
Right.
Yeah.
I never realized how big. Is it meese?
They're not the biggest horses.
They're not?
Really?
No, it's the Belgian or the Belgian draft is bigger, and they are units.
What are they called? Belgian drafts?
Yeah, Belgian drafts. They kind of look.
Never
They
heard of
look
that.
like Clydesdales, but they could race. Like they're way quicker.
Oh, that.
Show me. Oh my God!
Look at that unit.
That's a beefcake.
That's a.
Jesus.
Oh.
They're typically between 16.2 and 17 hands tall,
That's insane.
and they weigh anywhere from 1,800 to 200 or 2,200 pounds.
Good Lord.
Clydesdales are slightly taller but weigh less.
Interesting.
The more you know. Either way, I wouldn't
that.
want to be like within 20 feet of either of these things.
No.
They seem terrifying.
No. Look, I'm not shitting on Budweiser.
And I'm not shitting on Fansville.
I think Budweiser is a great American company. Just make better beer.
Fair enough.
I think it's
I don't
straight
have,
up piss water.
I don't have control over that.
Yeah.
I think it's too late in the game though. Like they can't change. Like when is a light beer like the Coors or the Budweiser or PBR, have any of them changed the recipe in 100 years? Like
No.
I don't think they're allowed to.
There was
Like
that.
they can't just rebrand and be like, hey, it's still Budweiser, but it tastes slightly better now, and it's like no one's gonna believe you.
Well, there was that weird phase in beer. It was I think it was started a couple of years ago where all of like the light beers started going at war with each other, where they're like, we're gonna make our beer one less calorie than the other, and they kept trying to like decrease it. It was like 100 calories, and it was like, oh, listen, hey, we got 94 calories.
Yeah, and now
93.
Yeah, and they were all trying to like compete with like Michelob Ultra.
Yeah, they're
is
like
like-
trying to make the athlete beer.
Yeah.
That's
Like if you drink beer, you don't care about how your body looks.
No.
Like you just gotta embrace the dad bod. Like, come on.
Yeah.
If I'm buying a 30 rack, I'm gonna fucking pound it.
It's that time of the year where I start getting fat again. I do this little
Too much
cycle.
good food.
Well, yeah, I do this cycle. I
Hey, all bears do. It's hibernation season.
right. I try and take care of myself from like January to August, and then September to December is just like because there's so many holidays, but it's like you can't not like you're telling me that I'm not going to eat 3 plates at Thanksgiving?
Yeah, come on.
Like, are you serious?
Yeah. And you're not gonna drink beer every single game day?
Yeah,
Like, come on.
So just be on the lookout for that. I might start getting fat again. Fat Sherm's the best, isn't he?
No.
Is it time for the special surprise guest?
It is. So I teased Sherm about this on, was it Sunday? Yeah, it was Sunday. So I had a text exchange with somebody, and it made me laugh a lot. And so then I FaceTimed them and said, you need to come on the podcast. And they were like, I am down. So without further ado, I'm going to give this individual a phone call.
I'm so nervous. I hate surprises.
You're going to love it. It's going to be amazing. It's my wonderful mother, Kathy Tiller, the most special guest we've ever had on this podcast. How you doing, Ma?
So special. I'm doing great. How's my favorite son?
Oh,
He's good.
So good.
I'm doing well. Thank you.
So good.
Okay, so
Matt, you. Yes.
yes, you need to describe what you texted me on Sunday evening.
Oh, yeah. So I just wanted to talk to poor misguided Dylan about his idea that PEDs in sports should be, not regulated. They should just let them do whatever and still do sports. So this was really concerning to me in 3 different ways.
3?
3 different
Yes.
ways. First, it's a sports fan. Okay. So it completely diminishes the values that an athlete should have because it's not just about being the best. It's also about your character, your integrity, your sportsmanship. And then there is the skill and talent as well. So,
This is already off to a great start.
If you're, God damn it! Please continue.
I have a concern about that.
Mm-hmm.
And then, as a healthcare professional, had big concerns about, these fun side effects. And somebody just doesn't use steroids once. It's a long-term thing, and there are bad side effects. Let's talk about some of them.
Let's, please.
Severe acne, increased risk of injury to tendons, liver abnormalities, high blood pressure, bad circulation, aggressive behaviors, or rage. That's on a field.
Because Sherman needs more rage in his life.
Right. And then the other, the big ones are, for men, prominent breasts, shrunken testicles, infertility, and prostate gland enlargement.
Sherm, are you on
Fun,
steroids?
No.
Do you want to talk to Sam's mom about, shrunken testicles? I don't think
That was. Let me be honest with you, Kath. That was not on my docket today.
this is not on. Yeah, right.
So that was the second. What's the third?
The third is as a parental.
Mm-hmm.
You were engaging my son into an anabolic steroid balance, which to me is a little, more severe than a hot dog eating.
It's a step up. I'll grant you that.
Which I might remind you, he beat you.
I did. I am the winner of the wieners.
The Wiener King.
So I don't think I'd want him to be challenged into taking steroids and see who could do the best with it. So
Listen, well, first of all, good to talk to you. Thanks for coming on. Listen, I threw that competition out there because Sam and I are always at war with each other about who's the better X or who's the better anything, like who's better at whatever. And I thought that if by leveling the playing field with the use of steroids, we would only unlock the greatness inside of us.
Oh, right.
And since we're like the same stature, the same height, I thought it would be pretty comparable if we took the same amount of steroids and we could inject each other. Like, what is a deeper symbolic gesture of friendship than injecting each other with steroids?
Right.
Yeah. I don't know if I agree with that.
You have to argue about the stature. I don't think you guys have the same stature.
I am a little thicker than you.
Both your
Yes.
Well, I mean, thick boy nation.
Yeah. So you're saying that your competitive nature got the best of you?
I think so. And I just want to see him do great things. And I think that steroids can help him.
That's it.
Yes. Okay, so as I understand it, you also have a question for us?
Sure.
Okay.
I have a question for you. So you have icons of football, right?
Yes.
Mostly a lot of quarterbacks, especially like Brady, Breeze, Russell Wilson, Rodgers. So who do you think in the future is going to be able to take on those roles, especially like the newer people coming in the last 3 years or so? Because the longevity of the game as a quarterback just isn't there with the new way that quarterbacks play with running. I mean, you've seen these injuries like Dak got.
Yep.
So who do you see having that? It's hard to totally predict, but who do you see might have that longevity?
Okay, so I have 3.
Okay.
Patrick Mahomes, for sure. I already think he's the face of the league. For obvious reasons. He's a monster. And then Justin Herbert, I think, is going to be fantastic. He's my pick to win the MVP this year. I think he's going to continue this upward trend in his career and become one of the faces of the league. And then I'm going to have to say Trevor Lawrence, the rookie in Jacksonville. I don't know if it's going to be in Jacksonville because they just suck. They've always sucked. They've never been good. But I think he's uber talented. One of the most talented quarterbacks to come out of college probably since Andrew Luck.
Mm-hmm.
So those are my 3.
Okay. In no order, I think my 3 would be obviously Patty Mahomes. I'm going to go with Josh Allen.
Oh, yep.
And I'm going to go with Kyler Murray. I'm going to go with Kyler Murray. I like Kyler.
I do too.
I think he's going to be one of those guys that sticks around. I think I don't know. I have a good feeling about him. I think he's really talented. I think he's really hard to tackle. He's really fast. So Mahomes, Allen, Murray.
I like it.
Allen's the only one that really doesn't run as much as the other guys.
No, but he can. And when he does, he really lays the wood.
Here's an interesting stat for you. Josh Allen has more rushing touchdowns than Zeke since 2018.
What?
Wow.
Yeah, Josh Allen has 25, Zeke has 24.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Did not know that.
It is.
Well, that was a great question.
It was.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mother. I appreciate that question. It was amazing.
Welcome.
Thank you for shitting on me.
Yes.
Thanks for that too, right, Sam?
Mm-hmm. It was like the favorite thing we've done on this podcast.
Is it?
15 episodes in, yeah. That right there was my favorite. It was amazing.
I disagree.
I disagree.
There was one other thing I wanted to bring up with you, Mother, and that was my comment about the brown guacamole.
Right.
Yeah, let's talk about that really quick.
Yeah.
Let's have a conversation about what
Listen.
he said.
She agrees with me.
Well, and the reason that started is because my guacamole is so awesome that if we couldn't eat it all, we were not throwing any of it out. And it did taste better the next day. So
Boom.
it's like infused at that point.
Ugh.
Boom.
Like my experience with leftover guac is you try and you take some sort of cling wrap or something and press it on the surface so that you eliminate all the oxygen out of it. But even so, like there's still going to be oxygen in there, so it's going to be brown. And I feel like it's so watery.
You just got to mix it in.
Ugh.
Just remix it.
Well, I guess it depends on your ingredients too. Sometimes your ingredients can make it more watery the next day. But
if your guacamole was so awesome, why are there leftovers?
Because
if it's not the best, why are there leftovers? If it's so good, why not just let's finish it all?
Because it's
because your dad's hot wings, that's why.
My dad's hot wings are
his hot wings brown and watery too?
No, they're fucking fire.
But
But
they were made 3 days before.
but with like the guacamole, it's like you want there to be enough. So like, just use 6 avocados, and then if you have extra, like, damn, that sucks. We get to have it tomorrow too.
Yeah,
They go into it with a different mindset than you, Sherm, because you want it to all be gone. So you want to make the perfect amount. They don't care how much they make because they know that the leftovers are going to be good anyways. So they probably make different quantities than you would make.
Exactly.
I don't know. Maybe you should ask like a true Mexican if that's even acceptable. I am far removed.
Well, what does what's Mark think about it? Mark is my Cuban uncle.
Got it.
And he's the one who taught me how to make it. They do use the leftovers as well. If there is something
Fucking
left
boom. Truth bombs. Brown guacamole slaps.
No, it doesn't. No, it does not. I disagree vehemently.
But it's a long I disagree segment.
It is.
It is.
And we already had one earlier.
It's an extended I disagree.
Yeah.
Oh, funny.
Okay, well, thank you so much, Mother. I appreciate it.
How come when your friends come on, you say that you miss them, but you didn't say you missed me? That's not good.
Well, I just talked to you on Sunday.
Yeah,
for
but you
like
can still
2
miss her.
hours. Okay,
That
Mother,
is
I miss you very much.
Yeah, don't make sure it sounds really forced when you say that. So maybe try it again.
Mom, I miss you so much.
Thank you, Samuel.
Yes.
Kathy, thank you for coming on and embarrassing me.
No problem.
And we're going to do drugs.
All right. You guys take care.
Okay.
You too.
Bye, Mom. Love you.
Bye. Love you too.
Talk about a buzzkill on the steroid competition.
I mean, holy shit.
Yeah, we didn't need a medical professional to talk about that.
Yeah.
I thought we had it pretty figured out ourselves.
I mean, I thought about it for maybe 7 seconds, and it was a solid gold idea.
I just loved how, I mean, I got a text from her on Sunday night, and it was like a paragraph long with just all of these symptoms, and it made me laugh. Because like that's like so like her mind, because she's worked in the medical field her entire life.
You embarrassed me. You made me look like a fool.
I did.
And I'm not going to forget this one.
Oh, well, that's too bad.
Have we had Kim on the podcast yet? I don't think so. I mean, we had her in the comment section, but we haven't had her phone in yet.
Nope, not yet. And
Kim loves me though.
Okay. Sure she does. Sure she does.
Well, that was very fun and the most special guest we've ever had on this podcast.
So Chef LaRocca just walked in.
Yes, she did.
Because she's late. In addition to being late, she also
is the worst social media manager.
Of all time.
All time.
Of all time. He had his mom call in, and she shit on me for a solid 5 to 7 minutes straight. As I don't deserve that.
Mm-hmm.
No, I don't.
Are you trying to pull something, Trav? Yeah, there you go. It's free.
Well, that was something, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Kath. How about a new segment
From the mind of Sam Tiller?
Wow. How about you introduce it, since it's your stupid fucking you're a great idea.
It is a great idea. So I thought of a new segment a couple weeks back, but we had to wait to use it because we didn't really have content for it. And it's called Down Bad. And basically what we're going to do is we're going to take something that happened every weekend or in the last week of sports, and whether it's like a fan reaction, like the most famous one is probably that kid at Michigan when they botched that punt against Michigan State. Like that kid down bad.
Yeah.
So it's stuff like that. So for the inaugural Down Bad, I had to go with, there was no clearer choice this week. Fucking Washington. Are you serious? Are you serious? You paid Montana $675,000 to play you. They traveled to Seattle, and then you lose. Your quarterback threw 3 interceptions, and you call yourself a top 20 team, and you think you have a chance at winning the Pac-12? What the fuck?
We should probably have Bubba on next week.
Oh my God. Yeah, because he was talking so much shit about, Oregon only beat Fresno State by a touchdown. At least we won.
A dub is a dub is a dub.
Yeah. At least we scored more than 7 points. And Fresno State is way better than Montana.
It was hilarious.
Are you fucking kidding me?
It was hilarious to see.
You paid them $675,000 to come into your home stadium and kick your ass.
They scored once.
Yeah. If UW isn't down bad, I don't know who is. Because, Jesus, that's an embarrassment to that program.
And I love it. I love seeing that.
I do too, because fuck the Huskies.
Fuck 'em. For my inaugural entry into the down bad universe, the Clemson Tigers. Wow, oh wow, did they not look good.
No.
DJ, I was partially correct last week in my
were.
line of the week.
were.
I said that game was going to come down to a turnover committed by DJ Uiagalelei. And what happened? He threw a pick 6 and it won them the game. I'll take credit. They had 90 yards of offense in the first half. And it was the first time since 2010 that a Dabo Swinney coached Clemson Tigers were held scoreless at half.
Yeah. They looked bad.
And I guess the question I kept asking myself during the game was, is Clemson's offense that bad, or is Georgia that elite?
You can ask the same question for Georgia, though. Is Georgia's offense that bad, or is Clemson's defense that good?
Right. So it's
because they did as bad as Clemson looked. Georgia's offense didn't look a whole lot better.
Right. I mean, there was no offensive touchdown.
No, they both went on one drive where they kicked field goals. That's it.
Yeah. What's interesting now is I think we talked about it last week or 2 weeks ago with the SEC implications. Now Georgia has a little bit of breathing room. Now that they can afford to possibly lose to Alabama if they both make it to the SEC championship game. If they lose to a 1 seed Bama, they could still easily get into the playoffs. Easy.
The AP poll came out today. Georgia's at 2.
Yeah, that's right. But Clemson, I mean, I thought they were a lock for the playoffs, an absolute lock, no brainer, nothing. I thought DJ was. I mean, obviously, it's you can't like call DJ a bust after he's only played in 3 games, but you think big time players make big time plays in big time games.
And he didn't.
And he did not do that.
No, he did not.
And especially the way he was hyped up to be the second coming of whoever it may be. He was so hyped. And I mean, he played really well last year when he filled in for Trevor Lawrence. He threw for like 800 yards in 2 games or something crazy like that. Very uninspiring and unimpressive. Against Georgia.
My thing is Clemson isn't going to play another hard game all year, so it's going to be tough for the playoff committee to really evaluate them because the one time they played a very talented team in Georgia, they looked like shit. But they're going to look great the rest of the year playing Georgia Tech and
Wofford
and NC State and Duke. Like, they're going to run all over those people. So it's going to be very hard to evaluate them at the end of the year. Because if they would have looked good and lost, fine. But they looked really, really bad.
Yeah. I like down bad.
I do too. Where we get to just shit on somebody or a program.
Love that.
It's great.
Let's conclude.
I phoned a friend on the guacamole debate. Noted person of Mexican descent, Roberto Rodriguez, aka co-owner of Speak Boise.
Okay.
And he concluded that eating guacamole as leftovers the next day is completely fine. You just need to put lime juice in it, and that will avoid all browning. So you might have to go a little heavy on the lime juice, but you can keep it from turning brown the next day.
Wow. That means all of you were wrong. Because everybody shit on me for that. It wasn't just Sherm. Trav, you did it, and Mistress LaRocca did it as well.
But I like that he added in that like the brown is unacceptable, but there's just ways to get around it.
Yeah.
You were promoting brown guacamole.
I mean, brown guacamole is just associated with like day-old guac.
Can I make a late entry into down bad?
Sure.
My honorable mention for down bad, me.
I think that's the whole bit, is that you guys are always the most down bad in the room.
Right.
Yeah.
We're just trying to find someone else that's at least to point our fingers at.
Yeah. Let's conclude with line of the week. Who you got?
I got the Browns +6 against the Chiefs.
You were called bold. You were called stupid for this.
And I don't understand why, because the Browns are they're
not fucking around. They're very talented.
No, and that defense is legit. They have the best 1-2 punch at running back in the league, and they're going to pound the rock down the Chiefs' throat. And I think at the end of the day, the Chiefs are going to win this game, but it's not going to be by 6 points. I see it as a 3 to 4 point game. So if you can get it at 6, I love it, because the Chiefs' defense, I don't think they're going to be able to stop the run game of the Browns. I think it's going to be very close. It's going to be a very entertaining game. That's probably the game of the weekend. For me.
That game is going to be won in the trenches, I think, because I think Kansas City has a whole new offensive line.
Yeah.
Brand new.
Yeah. And I always think that defense prevails earlier in the season because the offenses aren't really clicking. So if you have the Browns, who have a better defense than the Chiefs, I think they're going to be able to slow down Patrick Mahomes and that offense a little bit more. It's going to be a great game. Browns +6.
Okay. My line, 49ers -7.5 versus the Lions. I think this is I thought last week that my pick of LSU going in and beating the shit out of UCLA was a lock. That didn't happen.
Yeah.
The opposite happened.
So for all of our listeners out there, don't listen to Sherman in this segment. Listen to me, because my bet last week at least pushed. So it's not a win, but it's better than a loss.
Okay. I just want to say, I think my line is safer than yours.
Yeah, because the Lions are just straight trash.
The Niners, it's up for grabs in the NFC West. I think every team, I would say the Seahawks, the Niners, and the Rams all have an equal opportunity to take the division.
Yep.
49ers are going to be really good this year, especially if they're healthy. I think they would have been really dangerous. Obviously, they would have been super dangerous last year if their entire team wasn't hurt. I think they're going to come out rolling. I think Jimmy G has faced so much pressure with the drafting of Trey Lance. Right? It was Trey Lance? Mm-hmm. Yeah, Trey Lance. I think he steps up big this year and proves that he belongs in the NFL as a starter. And I think somebody will grab him up next year. I don't know when his contract is up, but
I think it's up at the end of this year. I'm not sure, though.
He'll make a market for himself, I think, this year.
Oh, he for sure will.
I think he'll go off.
He's good enough to start in the league.
I would take the 49ers right now minus 7.5. I think that it's going to be a 10 to 14 point game.
Yeah.
So 49ers playing the Lions, who are going to have more kneecaps bitten than touchdowns this year.
I have a very hard time picking lines that are over 7 in the NFL because every NFL game is very tight.
Yeah.
Like, you very rarely see 14-point victories in the NFL. At the very most, it's like 10. So
I guess on average, yeah, like you don't see a lot of blowouts.
No, they're rare.
Yeah. That was my line of the week.
Okay.
I think we're out of show.
We are out of show.
Thank God, because I can only get shit on for so long.
I could shit on you for hours.
I cannot believe that you had your mother call in and refute every point I made. You made me look
kind of weak. You kind of just did the call my mom card, a little bit.
I did.
He's being mean to me.
I'm going to call my mom.
I want to.
Because my mom's always right.
I want to. You made me look like an idiot.
You're welcome.
And I'll never forgive you.
It's okay.
We should get both your dads in here sometime. If they're both in town.
That would be an interesting meeting of the minds.
Because they've never met.
They have never met.
Yeah, that would be very
They're also very different people.
They are very different people.
Super different.
I wouldn't say they're going to be best friends by the end of it, but I think it would make for a pretty funny podcast.
It probably would. I think it'd be entertaining.
They would bond over the idiocy of both of us.
That's true. They would bond over how much they fucked up raising you guys. Like, I dropped him down the stairs. I dropped mine off the deck.
I blame my idiocy on my sister because when I was a toddler, she took a TV remote and smacked me on the head with it. And
she should.
And there's video proof of it.
Good.
So.
I think that just being hit on the head
Yes.
with a remote is going to go through your thick fucking big ass
Well,
it wasn't thick then.
Exactly. My big ass head wasn't fully fused together, so I still had a hole in the top of my brain.
It might still not be.
Do you guys want to hear a funny story?
Yes.
So when my brother was a fresh newborn in the hospital, I went to go visit him, properly. First
Not
of all,
like it was really your choice. You were like 3.
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
Don't say you went to go visit him. Like your parents were like, "Hey, we're going to the hospital."
Can you shut the fuck up?
It's not like you're like, "I'm gonna drive to the hospital and see my newborn brother."
Yeah, I'm gonna drive in my Tonka truck down to a Swedish hospital. Yeah. So he was just born, and first of all I kept thinking that he was a girl, and I was like, "Where's my sister? Where's my sister? Where's my sister?" And then if that wasn't enough, I sneezed on him when he was a newborn, and he came home with a cold.
Nice. What a shitty brother you are.
Did you get any gifts or anything when you got to visit your brother for the first time? I remember there's a picture of me like in the hospital when Ryan was born, and I have this like ridiculous shirt on that's like, I have a baby brother, or like something like that. And I remember like I got plugged. My brother was born. Like he was a newborn. He didn't get any gifts or anything, but I got a bunch of stuff.
I mean, he did get a gift. He got way more gifts than you because they had to buy him like a crib, all these like toddler toys.
That's true.
A room.
I just remember there was a point where I was
life.
stoked. I wanted my parents to have another kid because I knew I got a bunch of toys every time. Like I thought that was normal. And I've heard other people too where they're like families of like 4 and they're like, I just wanted more kids because I just got presents every time. It was tight.
Jesus.
So I didn't get any presents for my brother's birth, but
minus him.
He's right, of course.
Gift.
He Schmoley, love you, pal. let's get the fuck out
All
of here.
right. And that concludes an amazing episode of the Backburners. Shout out to the ugliest co-host of all time, Pinhead Larry, and our wonderful producer Fabio, and the worst social media manager of all time who showed up late today.
The worst social media manager,
Mistress La Rocca.
and the tardiest.
The tardiest.
I was
Yes.
at my previous.
Nope, you don't have a microphone.
This job is more important than your other job.
That's right.
Get that through your head.
That's right. That's
Make
right.
sure to give us a follow on Instagram and TikTok at the Backburners Pod and listen to us on your favorite streaming service. We're the Backburners, and we'll catch you on the flippity flip.